Pay attention. All right, we got some swag. We got some new swag coming. You guys ready? Here we go. There's one. Here we go. Hold up. I got you in the back. Yeah. Baseball, hand it off. Here we go. All right, let's go. All my homies in the middle, toss the t-shirts out. Woo! All right, here we go. All right. All dudes from Wisconsin are talking smack. Oh! I got a few more. Save that for later. All the married dudes are like, I did that last night. Did you get offended when I threw it to you like that? I saw you dodging and weaving. All right, we're good on shirts. All right. DJ Jace. Bring it down a couple notches. Here we go. Welcome to the $1 Million Mastermind 2019. Are you guys ready? We're about to get hyped, Mr. Bearded Man. Are you ready? I brought my hair, man. Hope you brought yours. You guys are in for a treat. Some of the most dynamic speakers in business and in life are going to be speaking today. You already know some of them. They're some of the coolest people. They've been through some hard things, but I'm ready to go. Are you guys ready to go? Are you ready? Okay, everybody on your feet! On your feet! All right, let's go. Here we go. When I say A, you say O. A. A. When I say A, you say O. A. A. O. Good. From the window to the walls. Very good. Just testing you. That was the test. All right, here we go. Stop. And let's go and kill the music real quick, Jace. Jace. All right, stop your feet. Keep it louder. You guys need to clap your hands too. I know you can do this, even if you're hungover. Here we go. You gotta get it up. You gotta bring it down. You gotta get loud. You gotta get proud. Are you ready?
For some reason, the force of average thinks it's fucking funny to rain on all my events. I don't know how many of you have been here before, but it's like we're in Groundhog Day in this bitch. Every time we try to do this, the force of average is like, we'll just sprinkle a little rain on you. So, but I'm glad you guys are here. I know some of you had a really hard time with your flights and shit like that, because apparently a literal shitstorm hit Texas last night. So I'm glad that you guys made it, despite the layovers and everything else. I really appreciate the effort. It's going to be worth the time, I promise you. We have an amazing lineup here. You guys know what you're in for today. We're going to do stuff today that we need to tell you about. That wasn't even on the website. You don't even know who's in the audience right now. You look around next to you, you might just see another gentleman or a lady that you don't know that's wearing one of our shirts or one of their shirts or says G code. And this is a room full of people that are worth millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. I look in the front row right here, and I see people that manage massive amounts of money. I see the youngest, Dan here, the youngest person to ever take a company public in the, what was it, NASDAQ? Amazing, right? We have some winners in this room. We represent what winning looks like, don't we, Apex? Where's my Apex family at? Where's my Airtake family at? That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. We represent what winning looks like, man. I love it. I love it. I fucking love it, man. You guys are awesome. So, our first speaker is Flight Guy Cancer. Ain't that some shit? So y'all get stuck with me first thing this morning for the next 30 minutes. And we're gonna do some pretty amazing stuff this morning, but it's gonna be something where I need you to play all in. You cool with that? Raise your hand if you can play all in. If the person next to you doesn't raise their hand, stare at them like the crackhead on the street corner that wants money when you're like just parked at the red light. Give them that stare. So here's what I need you to do. Everybody separate yourself, 2 little elbow spaces, make room, let's fill the hole. Make room right here, so that you got some elbow room. We're gonna walk through an exercise, okay? And we gotta do this first thing in order for you to get where we're going. And I need you, this is gonna sound crazy, it's gonna sound hokey. You're gonna go, why is he making me do this shit? Do it anyway. At the end, I promise you, I've seen this look across the room. 10,000 people this year so far. I've seen this look on their face when they're done, and I know you'll feel the same way they do, so just do it with me, okay? So what I want you to do is first close your eyes. That's why I had you step a little bit apart from each other. Close your eyes and look over your right shoulder. Okay, keep them closed, keep your head there, stay there. Now just play with me. Keep your eyes closed this entire time. Do not open your eyes until I ask you to open your eyes at the end of this exercise. While you're staring over your right shoulder with your eyes closed, imagine the most elite version of yourself. Now I want you to think about this person is you. If you were at the absolute top of your game, what do your feet look like? Your ankles. Are your calves muscular? If you're a lady, are your calves shaved like dolphin skin? Naturally, no hair even grows there, right? What do your thighs look like? Your midsection, you got ripped abs, big quads. You know, if you're ladies, you got, nice ass, perfect abs. Guys, perfect abs. That's a big deal for a lot of us. Your chest, the dream chest size for guys, girls, your shoulders, your biceps, maybe your arms for some of you gentlemen, veiny. What does your hair look like? Do you have hair? Right? It's the most elite version of yourself. Do you have hair? Do you have facial hair? What do you look like sitting there, the most elite version of yourself? Now imagine what that person looks like. Okay, take that in for a second. Now imagine how that person feels. If you were the most elite version of yourself, imagine what it would feel like to have people give you the best love they possibly can because they didn't want anything back from you but love. Imagine being the best father or mother possible, the best husband or wife possible, the best leader, businessman. Imagine what your bank account would be like if you were the most elite version of yourself. Millions, hundreds of millions. Imagine what house you would live in. Because if you're the most elite version of yourself, you're operating at your full potential. You can afford whatever it is that you want. Imagine your house. What car would you drive? Would you even drive a car? Where would you live? How would it feel to be in that situation every single day? How would it feel to be in optimal health with the six-pack, feeling good, and having the energy to do what you wanted in life, having the energy to enjoy the money that's sitting in your bank account that you need to spend in order to stay at the top of your game? Imagine that. I want you to see that person, and I want you to feel that person. And we're just going to hold it there for a couple more seconds. Imagine what that person must feel like. Now here's what I want you to do next. Leave your eyes closed, stay looking over your right shoulder, take one step right and place your feet exactly where the feet of the person you just imagined is. Do not open your eyes yet. Just take one step to the right and place your feet exactly where those feet that you just saw earlier are. Then I want you to look forward and then open your eyes, and I want you to just feel that. Here's what we just walked through. That thing that you saw, that person that you saw standing to your right is who you were destined to be by God, by the Creator, by the divine coder, whatever it is that you believe in. That's who you were designed to become. And now you know what that looks like. Now you know what that feels like. So what we've got today for you is actionable steps, because you're only one step away from becoming that person. The thing is, it's one step, then another step, because being the most elite version of yourself, the carrot's always on the stick in front of you. You're always chasing it. You're always chasing it, but now you know what that person looks like. Now you know who you were meant to be. Now you know who you were supposed to be. So how do you become that person? Something that I call the G code. I'm going to explain the perfect daily routine to you guys. And again, just like in the beginning, you were probably thinking, he's got me looking at my toes. I knew what I was doing. I had to get you to picture those feet so you can put your feet in place and understand, right? But in the beginning, it's like, he has me looking at toes. did he just ask me if my skin was gonna be smooth like a dolphin, right? It's a little weird, but in the end, I've seen the look on your face. Every fucking single one of you had a huge smile on your face when you opened your eyes. Some of you even clapped. You felt so good about it. You weren't clapping for me, you were clapping because you had an aha moment that's like, oh shit, that's me, that's who I can be. Okay? And so how do you become that person? It's something I call the G code. Listen, this is nothing new. When I worked for the Ford company and I sold cars, there was a saying there. We had family, occupation, recreation, dream. That was how you were to prospect somebody and mine their info to figure out which car you were going to sell them, a Mustang or a minivan or whatever the case, right? But I never really understood that those were the 4 things that most people focus on or should be focused on, and that's why we ask those questions. So when I created the G code, I said, okay, I need something that's simple, because that's my biggest talent. It's taking big, complicated things and making them super simple for people to understand. The problem with that is you guys are super smart. You know how I know? Because dumb people don't show up to events like this, right? They're spending their Wednesday watching, reruns of The Talk or whatever the hell is on TV. I don't know any TV shows. I tried to come up with one, and I don't know a single TV show. And so anyway, they're watching, daytime TV or something. They're not in this room. The problem with smart people, and I love you guys, is that you overcomplicate shit because you're smart and you're like, if it was that simple, I'd already do it, but you're not doing the simple shit. You're doing the hard shit. So what I'm gonna teach you today with the G code is very simple, it's not hard. But here's what happens, is you tend to discredit simple shit. But it is designed, this system is designed to a T to help you out in a daily routine. How many people have been following me for over a year? Okay, cool, we got like a lot of new people, that's great. Leave your hands up for a second though. So if you've been following me for over a year, leave your hand up if you've seen a significant change in how I do life. All right, this is why, right? Wouldn't you like to see that change in your life? Guess what, I lost 25 pounds. The most elite version of myself, you put your hands down. The most elite version of myself in my vision didn't weigh 225, he weighed 205, which is what I weigh now, right? The most elite person didn't dress the way that I used to dress. Right? I had this vision just like you did, and I had to become that person. The most elite version wasn't mad and pissed off and calling people out and starting shit all the time. That wasn't the most elite version of me. I had to become this person. The most elite version of me, I had to evolve into that. But I can tell you, I don't have my phone on me, Christine does, but I think I'm 432 days into this daily routine. And I can tell you everything in my life, from my marriage to my job, to the way that I feel, to my health, to everything, is as good as I can possibly get it until tomorrow gets here and I get a chance to make it better. You dig what I'm saying? So first thing you're gonna do when you get up, and you can all have a seat now. The first thing you're gonna do when you wake up in the morning is you gotta wire your mind to be grateful for what you have. I was in Vegas speaking in front of about 2,600 people about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. And my days tend to run together lately. But this beginning of March, speaking in front of 2,600 people in Vegas, and the guy that went on before me was Eric Thomas. Y'all know who that is? That's a fucking tough act to follow. It's like, hey, new guy, the Rolling Stones are going on first and you're finishing the... So like, he's literally the world's greatest motivational speaker. Like, hands down, if you Google that phrase, he's the guy that multiple sources say is the guy, and they're like, Stuman, you're up after him. I'm like, all right. It's a hard one. But the reason why I say that is one of the things he said that stuck with me. I don't remember anything else about that event because it was in Vegas. But I do remember what Eric said. He said, if you don't appreciate what you have now, you'll never get what's coming next. Anybody ever heard the sayings like money doesn't buy you happiness, right? We have these sayings, money doesn't buy you happiness. You have to buy your own happiness, and I'm gonna give you the G code today that's gonna create that happiness and contentment inside, because now you have a vision of where you gotta get to. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do every morning when I wake up is I'm gonna wire my mind to be grateful. So I'm gonna write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. Brandon, who will be up here shortly, Brandon Gosaway, he likes to write down 5 things that he's grateful for and why. And the more specific you are in your life, the less the force of average will fuck with you. The more specific you are in your life, without everything, with your intentions, with your details, the less the force of average will come against you. Because it knows when a human being is focused, when we are in the zone, we are unstoppable. When a human being is in the zone, we disrupt the banking system. We go to Mars. We take over new territories. We're in the zone, we're gonna go fucking bombard Mars. If there's life on Mars, it's fucked when we get there. Because we're gonna have people in the zone that are focused on taking that planet if we got to, right? We are unstoppable when we're in the zone, so the force of average knows that the only way to stop us is to distract us from being focused. And most of us don't know what to actually focus on, and that's why the G code is so important. So the first thing in the morning, I'm gonna wire my mind to be grateful. Why? Because I lived my entire life with a scarcity mindset. I was left, by my father at 5 years old. I was adopted by an abusive stepfather at 7 years old. I've been divorced. I've had my freedom taken from me. So a lot of baggage comes with that. And so I had this scarcity mindset. It's like, dude, everything's been taken from me so many times, it's only a matter of time before it's taken again, so I better hold on to what I can get. Some of you do your money that way. You've lost money so many times, you're like, well, I just hold on to it. It's like money does you no good sitting there. It's like an employee. If an employee's just sitting down on break all the time, it does you absolutely no good. Money is an employee. You got to put it to work. It does you no good sitting around. But so I had all these reasons to be like scared. And it wasn't until I started to be grateful for what I have now instead of focusing on what I had lost in the past. And I started being grateful for the wife that I have, the 3 awesome kids that I have, the great friends that I have, the wonderful clients and people that support me that are in my life, the businesses that I run, and the, Phone Sites has got 100,000 leads for our clients in 12 months. That's fucking lives that have been changed. Some of y'all are out there in this room right now that are making more money than you've ever made before because of that. Right? And so I get the privilege of being able to be grateful for those things instead of focusing on all the times that I've been screwed over in life, and my life changed. And it all started with writing 5 things down that I'm grateful for first thing in the morning. Okay? The first rule or letter or whatever of the G code is have a grateful mindset. Number 2 is you gotta work on your genetics. How many people in the room work out at least 3 times a week? I love it, I love it. The ones that didn't raise your hand, it's because you don't work out. It's a lot of energy. I get it. You just have to work into that. None of y'all laugh at that? Okay. Like the people that didn't exercise didn't have the energy to never mind. So we'll just keep moving. But exercising is important not because you just want to look like the person that you envision. Exercise is important because we sit down and deal with stress all day. This is another reason why it's important to get a grateful mindset first thing in the morning, because the force of average is going to throw shit at you. Right? A speaker's flight gets canceled. Somebody needs to, there's been a couple Mondays where Christine's daughter's been sick and had to go to the hospital. Like, there's gonna be shit that's out of your control that's thrown your way. So you better start off being grateful for what you got before you start getting focused on all the shit that's being taken from you and distractions and everything else. Well, because of all those stressed out distractions and everything else, we start building up anxiety inside of ourselves in a big way. And a lot of you don't even realize it. But when you go to the gym, or when you just walk a mile, or when you run or jog or bicycle or whatever it is that you do that's physical, when you're doing something like that, you're letting that anxiety out. I had a friend ask me a couple months ago, he said, I was showing him my Oura Ring results, which is a thing that tracks your sleep. It's like a Fitbit for sleep. And he's like, damn, dude, how do you sleep so good every night? He's like, man, Mark works my ass out in the gym, and I go to bed tired because I've let all the things that would normally be pent up out. And guess what? When one of you guys or somebody else or something doesn't go, accordingly, and it stresses me out, I get to go in that gym and focus on letting that shit out, right? And so all of a sudden, that thing that normally would be held inside of me all day long, or for 2 days, for some of you weeks, I just let it out in the gym. I'm done with it. It's gone. I exorcised the demon. So genetics, second part of the G code, but it's not just about exercising, because to become the most elite version that you envisioned of yourself, it's going to take more than exercise. It's going to take diet and nutrition as well. I take 7 supplements. If you go to Amazon.com, you can look up something called Focus Pills. They're in a green bottle, literally just called Focus Pills. They're in a green bottle. I take those every day. There's a special root called rhodiola, and you can take rhodiola, and it helps you concentrate as well. I make sure I take M Factor, which is from First Form, which is omega fatty acids, I take full omega from First Forms, which is their omega oils or whatever, and then also take M Factor, which is like a daily vitamin from First Form. I take these things because after all my research and all the people that I'm friends with, these are the things that have optimized my health. It may be different for you, but these are the things that I need in order to be optimized in my health. I also learned something right here from the Make America Fit Again guy in the red hat over here, Mark, my trainer. is one of the first things he told me. We started working out together. He said, if you want to lose weight, instead of eating a whole hamburger, just eat a half. Wait 10 or 15 minutes, and if you're still hungry, by all means eat the other half. Chances are you're not going to be hungry anymore. So I start doing that. See, I eat like I'm still in prison. You know, like I grew up in a family where my adopted father was a big dude, so he was hungry all the time. And so if I didn't hurry up and eat, he was going to eat. Then when I worked at the car wash, I had to learn to hurry up and eat because the next car might come in. Then in prison, y'all already know how that shit works. So like, I just have always been a super fast eater, but what would happen to me is I would eat the whole hamburger, which I didn't need, and I'd be like, oh dude, I'm so tired this afternoon, right? We've all felt that. So all of a sudden I start eating a half, stick around for 10 minutes, let it digest. My problem was, I hadn't even let it get to my stomach to fill me up yet before I'm like cramming the whole damn thing down. I haven't had to stop eating hamburgers. I just eat a half. Another thing is when my wife and I, when we go on date night once a week, which we always do no matter what, we split an entree. Instead of us both getting big ass steaks and freaking scarfing them down and being too tired to do anything when we get home, we just split an entree. So working on your genetics doesn't have to be super complicated. You don't have to go get some diet book and like, I'm never eating carbs again. I'm going on the Cro-Magnon diet. Like, you don't have to do any of that, you know? And if you want to, that's fine, right? If that's what it required for you, like if your most elite version of yourself looked like Mike O'Hearn, you're probably gonna need to be on the Cro-Magnon diet, right? But if your most elite version of yourself was just who you know you were meant to be, then it's just little switches like that. You know, instead of a burger, eat a piece of chicken. Just little things like that. Every single day you shave 100 calories here, 500 calories here, 1,000 calories here. That shit adds up over a year. That's 30,000 less calories you've eaten over an entire year. Don't you think that makes a huge difference? It's like 20 days of food less that you've eaten in a year. Makes a huge difference. So genetics is part of that. The third one is your grind. We got to focus on our business. How many people own their own business in the room? Okay, leave your hand up. How many people get paid a commission in the room? Okay, so that's everybody. Except for the few people who just always refuse to open their hands, but we'll just all point and laugh at them here in a minute as part of my next exercise. So the thing is, with being an entrepreneur, we don't have a boss. We're the CEO, right? Being a salesperson that works on commission, typically we don't have a supervisor. A lot of us work from home these days. And so we don't know what to be focused on at work, and so we just keep getting carried by emails and carried by direct messages and all this other shit. Here's what I do. I live my life by a calendar. My calendar is my boss. My schedule is my supervisor. I work for that calendar. And it's important, and this is a funny story. I originally started like calendaring every single part of my day, every move that I made, everybody that I talked to, because I was scared the FBI was watching me again. I thought that there's somebody in the FBI going, there is no fucking way this guy is making that much money, let's keep an eye on him, and I needed an alibi, right? I'm not even kidding, but then I look up and I'm like, hey, this is actually a cool little rhythm where I'm checking my deal, and at the end of the day, I can see all the shit that I did. Because even when I was like, okay, let's say I have a blank, let's say I have an hour in my schedule for the day that's not filled. Whatever I do during that hour, I go and I program back in there, hey, here's what I did with that hour. So at the end of the day, if I go back and I look at that hour, it's like I fucked off on Facebook, right? Then I can go, damn, you know, that's holding me accountable. If that was my supervisor, it would probably be like, Mr. Stewart, that 1 hour, right? But then it holds me accountable. But I don't just use it at work either. Like when my wife and I, we have date night once a week, like I just said, it's on the calendar. When my kids want me to go to the park with them or go do something, like they want me to go surfing with them this weekend, indoor surfing, that's a thing here in Texas, like it's on my calendar. I live and die by that thing. Even my kids, they know not to ask me for things, and then occasionally their kids, they do, but they'll go to Amy and say, hey, will you put it on Dad's calendar to take us here? And that sounds weird to some people, but we treat our business calendar like it's everything, it's gold, and then we don't take the time or make the time matter at home with our families, which I think we should put that on the calendar too, because if it's on the calendar, it's important. If you schedule it, it's important. I think family's important. I also make sure the last G of the G code is group. The group of people you're surrounded with. You know, I was just at a party Saturday, and there were multiple people at this party that had done over $1 billion in revenue last year, right? I went from like, you know, barbecues in the hood to having Dan Bilzerian style parties over in Scottsdale in a short period of time because it changed my network. I changed the people that I was surrounded with. When I changed the people I was surrounded with in the gym and I started working out with Mark, I got in better shape. When I changed the people that I was hanging around with in real life and I started hanging around the Ed Milettes and the Andy Frisellas and the Frank Kerns and Billy Jeans and all these other people, my life changed. Because they were 10s, and let's say I was a 7, they brought me up to being a 10. It's the same thing. We get focused on pleasing the wrong people all the time. Unfortunately for me, I don't talk to my family. It was, you know, a young lion cub. When it's time to go, it's time to go. And that's how it was for me. But I had to make that decision. It was not easy. But I guarantee you the group of people that I have in my life right now is the best group of people I have ever had in my life ever. And not just because they may have money or don't have money. I never felt this loved in my life because I've stuck to the G code and I understand what I'm looking for in the group of people. Like, I think everybody in this room should have a hit list. You should have 5 or 10 people that you want to be friends with, that you want in your life as a mentor, a friend, a business partner, something of that nature. Where's Adam Neese at? Are you in here? Yeah, he wrote down his hit list, want Marshall Silver as a business partner. Did that work out for you?
Oh, yeah.
So you gotta have a hit list. Why? Because the human's unstoppable. When we know what to focus on, nothing can fuck with us. You guys getting this?
Yeah.
Well, we know, so we gotta be specific on these things. So the group of people that are in your life is huge. I go out of my way to be a good father. I go out of my way to be a good employer. I go out of my way to be a good friend. Once a month, me and my friends will meet up at the bar and have drinks. I got a lot of friends, so I got to work the rotation because some of you are going, hey, motherfucker, you don't call me. There's a lot of you. See, I work a rotation. But the truth is I go out of my way to be a good friend. Last Friday night, I was tired as shit. But Micah Dortch, who's one of our speakers up here and one of my best friends, he's like, hey, we're going to this concert. And I know this, if you keep telling your friends no enough, they'll stop asking you. And then all of a sudden you're like, why don't you invite me anywhere? You never want to fucking go. So at the end of the day, every day I make sure that I'm focused on those 4 areas and that I get wins in them. And the last thing I do before I go to sleep every night is I go back to that piece of paper that I wrote down what I'm grateful for, and I write down everywhere that I won for the day. Every win. And the easy way to do that is just look on your calendar and write down everything that you won at. Now here's the thing, don't write down the things you need to improve. Don't write down your losses. Don't write down the shit that went fucked up. Only write down 100% wins at the end of the day. There's always at least one. But you need to be writing down at least 4, 1 in every area. What that does is that gets your conscious mind to focus on drawing out where you won for the day, and it reminds you you're a winner. The last thing before you go to sleep, you're waking up grateful and going to sleep a winner. Here's the bigger part of that. After a while, you're going to keep going through this process. The force of average is going to hit you hard. Why? Because it's trying to show you all this shit that Stu taught you don't work. Just go back to being distracted over here. You need ADHD medication. It's going to try hard. Especially after 30 days, when you start feeling good, you'll want to regress back to the mean. You'll want to return to fine. But here's what I do know about this, is when you push through this, it will change how you feel. It will change how you think. And the biggest thing is when the force of average hits you and you feel like a loser, right? Because we all have that moment. You can go back to that piece of paper or that Evernote or that document in your phone, and you can see, right now I can see I got 420 something freaking wins. Every day I'm a winner. So how can you convince me I'm a loser? If we are arguing and you call me names, how can I be that when I've got proof right here for 423 days that I fucking win every day? So I go, David Goggins taught me that's called the piggy bank. Right? You just put in the good shit, the badass shit that you do in a piggy bank, and when you need a reminder, you go into your savings account and you remind yourself who the fuck you are. So, with that being said, now you guys know who you need to become and who you were destined to become, and these little small steps every single day will take you on the path to becoming that person. In my opinion, if you really focus hard, you can do this shit in a year or less. I did it in about 8 months. But I went hardcore. I do not miss a day. If you looked at my phone, it is militant with all of this stuff, right? Because there's no gray area. If you don't stick to the G code, you don't get the result, which is greatness. You get good, and good's okay. Who the fuck wants to be okay? There's plenty of people that are okay that are riding the bus. There's plenty of people that are okay that haven't had a date in 2 years, right? There's plenty of people that are okay that haven't slept with the person that they're married to in 2 years. I don't want to be fucking okay. I don't want to be any of that. And I know you guys want to be great as well, and this is the path. With that being said, I'd like to invite Brandon and JC up here. We're going to put on a little show for you guys. Give them a round of applause. Welcome up here.
So I need you guys to put a little bit of energy in, and you'll get a life-changing result. All right, so let's clap. Come on.
So this is the thing. Okay, thank you.
Hey, here we go.
This takes about a 400-pound bench press to roll up into a burrito.
Now we're in trouble then. No, I'm just kidding. I'm good.
Probably a little more with the smaller one, but John's going to show you. I'm too pansy.
All right, come on, guys. Let's get it done. Let's.
All right, let's make some noise. Come on. Come on. Holy
Why'd you give me the hard one? It's like that. You gave me the hard one. I see how it is. No, they're all hard. Trust me. Come on, let's give a hard break again. Let's go.
You got it, man. Come on, come on.
Come on, feel the energy. Come on. Never quit, never give up.
So I tried to get Stu to let his kids skip school because I wanted to press him on it. Right. Half inch, oh no, that's yours.
Oh, no.
So. Do we get to bend it? If you think you can bend it.
Oh, I love it.
Come on. This is great for you. Come on,
This
brother.
is the crowd we like. Come on.
Now understand, you don't get to just turn it over once. Not twice. But you got to do it 3 times.
Notice that. Hometown. All right, so he's going to
Just
take a half
random
inch
people
piece
that
of
are
steel.
badasses in the audience. How fucking cool is this? I love it.
Get it, come on.
Get it! Get it!
Let's go. Get it done. Come on.
Yeah!
Come on, get behind him.
Yeah, give it up for Jerry! Yeah!
Come on. There's one.
There's one! There's one!
One more. Come on.
You got it around once.
Come on.
Come on.
Get it, Jerry!
Jerry, 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 Jerry.
Let's go.
Come on, buddy, come on.
You got it, man. Come on. Come on. Make it work. Make it work. You got it over there. Almost. Come on.
Oh, man. He's there. Oh, wait, here, let me take this second. Hold on. Now, that's how we do it in the big shows, Jerry Close. What this is, what the audience doesn't know is, this is the opportunity for you to catch your breath, right? They think this is intended for a pause. I'm gonna explain something, but really it's just for you to rest for a second. So what we've got here is a half-inch piece of steel. Jerry is taking that, he's spinning around. He's getting close, ladies and gentlemen. And here's the deal. This is not a failure, trust me. I spent 10 years on the road, all 50 states, 20 different countries around the world, doing feats of strength, speaking over 1,000 school assemblies every year. I can tell you this is tough. It's a tough way to make a living. I don't do that anymore, thankfully. I'm in the corporate world now, that's why I'm getting fat, but it's been awesome. But I can tell you this right now, Jerry has done a great feat of strength today, but how many of you know you wouldn't be here today if you didn't believe in the concept of asking for help when you need it? How many of you know that? You're here today because we want to better ourselves, right?
No.
I can tell you right now, Jerry is a winner today because the guy in a room full of people Guy up on stage, he doesn't know. He says, hey, let me get a shot at that. He steps up here.
Fucking love
He
it.
takes that was energy right there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pass this off to Brandon now. Because Brandon's got a little more experience. He's got a little more time in the game taking this steel where it needs to be. So Brandon, I want to ask you to step in for Jerry. Not because he failed, because we can always ask for help. Because we never quit, we never give up.
Danny,
Let's
grab
go.
him an FYE hat, man. Stu said, fuck my excuses, got him here and handle that shit. Make sure he gets a house hack for that.
All right.
This is just like a group. Sometimes you can't always get to where you want to go unless you got some help. I didn't get to where I wanted to go. I'm still not there. But where I'm at, without that man. So just like that, we're going to take this and bend it on around.
Finish. Come on, buddy. Finish strong. Come on, let's help him out, crowd.
Yeah!
Woo!
Damn, you're strong, Joe Rogan.
Oh, this is where it gets
Yeah, get it, Brandon, get it. Curl it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Incredible. Come on, cross him
Holy
over.
shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon
Holy
Galloway.
shit,
Come
you
on.
guys.
1,200 pages.
I'm gonna rip this phone book like one sheet of paper.
What's a phone book?
That's why we rip it.
It's a thing you don't need if you go get phone sites. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go get it.
Get it.
Man, you gotta start over. You can't do that. The whole thing. You gotta forget your keys. That's hard. Yeah, well, life's hard. Come on. Come on. Give me some room. Come on.
Get it. Get it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you can be seated. You can be seated. I'm going to try to pack my 2-hour testimony, if you will, into about 10 minutes, because I see the man looking at me. So, grew up a poor preacher kid, a little hot, guys. And, you know, as a preacher kid, you're naturally expected to follow your parents' footsteps. First generation and 6 on both sides, I'm not a preacher. So understand that sometimes your path is going to lead you away from what your parents want, what your circle wants. I'll step back. Is that better? Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. In doing that, got married, had kids, got the white picket fence dream. Was director of the world's largest crane company at 27. Decided to go out on my own at 30. By 33, I had made, my net worth was somewhere between $5 and $7 million. Thought, man, I have it all. I got the wife, I got the kids. My wife actually likes me. That's a feat, if you guys know. 14 years of marriage, and she still likes me. So, what I didn't know is gratitude. And so, at 33, worth about $7 million. At 35, on the verge of bankrupt. 2 companies failed. I had sold out of the others. Had to sell my house, sell my car. I'm only 36, guys, so we're only talking a year ago. Dustin, who will be speaking, was kind enough to give me a job. A year ago, I was moving furniture for Dustin. In 12 months, I've gone from moving furniture on the back of a truck. I'm the CEO of 4 companies, 2 of which are multi-7-figure companies per quarter. 2 others that are hobbies that I love. My gym, anybody Mark's in the gym business. You don't get rich off the gym, so it's a hobby. That was a joke. So, you guys want to know how I did it? Yeah. Say how. I'm glad you asked. I started being grateful. I used 2 skills. Everybody got them. I was grateful, and I was focused. I had 3 kids, had 6 eyes looking at me going, hey, where the hell am I going to eat? And so I had to figure out how to do it. I got focused on what my passions were and got grateful for what I had to get out of my mess. Left Dustin and JC at, mid-May, and started out. I knew I wanted to get into supplements. I knew I wanted to get back into fitness. I don't look it, but I used to bodybuild. And so I started being grateful, you know, grateful that I had a house, you know, at least had a house. I ain't rolling in the McLaren yet, but we'll see. Grateful I had cars. You what now? Probably not. Maybe an F-150. Anyway. But so I started getting grateful for what I had. The little things, my kids. My kids aren't sick. My wife isn't sick. My wife went to work. First time in 13 years, my wife's never had to work. So you got some ego and you had to lay down the pride and pick up gratitude and pick up focus. We started making diet pills on my counter on June 7th of last year. Now, any of you guys, if you're FDA, you didn't hear that. Started doing it. I started reaching out to people, started getting contacts, and there was 1 million no's, maybe 2 million. We kept pushing, kept grinding, because it's all I had. I burnt the boats. I don't have a house. I don't have no other collateral except what I invested in. And see, when you go all into what you got, you ain't got nothing but what you got. And so I got focused on how do I do it. Next thing I know, we started making the diet pills. They went everywhere. They went exploding. And I was like, man, I'm tired. We drilled plexiglass, guys. I'm not talking, I didn't have one of those little fancy cappers that you put all the nice stuff. No, I got a drill and plexiglass and started making the pills. And I thought I'd hit the big time when I got a little, you know, real pill press. And then we kept sinking the money. And when you've got profits in something, a lot of people run out and they go spend that profits. And they go lease the cars. They go rent the house. They get all the material stuff. And believe me, I'm for material stuff. But if you don't put your profits back into what you're doing, you're never going to be profitable. We're still in the building stage. But I can tell you 12 months later, I went from my kitchen, making diet pills, to a $10 million facility that did, what, 5 million last quarter? 5 million. I've got another company that did 3 million. And I still don't take a salary off of it. I take just enough to live because we reinvested, because 10 million is not enough. I want 100 million. I want 500 million. And so, yeah, you can clap for that. I thought I was going to feel that from you. What revolutionized here in about 5 months ago, Ryan started talking about the G code. And I've known him for several years, and I kept watching the transformation. I'm like, man, I'm stuck in this pile of crap. How do I get out? And he spoke before me. I was going to steal your thunder, Ryan, but you kind of took it. Being grateful, having that gratitude, having that focus, and then understanding that if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I can't focus on you. I can't focus on my partners. I have to do it. It's on me. They're there to help, but you guys own your day. You own your results. And so if you don't make it, burn your boats, and put all in on what you're doing, you'll never get anywhere. You just won't. Come on.
Give him a round of applause. That's what I'm talking about. In a year, motherfucking life change. This is how crazy the room that we're in. This is the amount of power that's in this room. Brandon and I have been planning this shit for 6 months. JC and Jerry, fucking who knew? Who knew? We just found out JC was on the power team last night. I'm sure other people knew, but I didn't know. And I was like, oh shit, well why don't you come up here? We have 2 badass people doing crazy shit up here. And then randomly Jerry's like, I got this shit too, and Ben's fucking Steel up here. Like, how powerful is our network for real? Like, just manifesting and seeing that right there. Just random people in the room that can rip fucking phone books open and shit. By the way, I would be very careful who you smart off to in the hallways around here. You never know. And, but how amazing is that? I mean, just like the fact they come up. The reason why I had originally just Brandon come up here and do that is to show you what it's like to be elite. There's an elite group of people that can break baseball bats, and Ben Steele multiple times. Why? Because he went and focused on being one of the strongest people on the planet. Same with JC, who could, he ripped that phone book apart like it was nothing, right? And so I just wanted you to see, like, hey, these guys, it's an elite mentality that allowed them to do that. Could have been easy for Brandon to start twisting that steel and go, it's fucking too much. But what'd he do? He got focused, and no matter how hard it was, he finished wrapping that motherfucker around. You see that? That's the power of focus and having elite focus. And these guys, it just happens to be their strength. But why not have it all across the board? And the way to do that is to get focused every day on living that G code. You guys feeling it? Yeah. All right, cool. So I'm gonna bring up our next speaker. And this guy's, you know, I don't call too many people my best friend. I got a few. And, but I mean, a lot of us are friends on social media and stuff like this. Like, I remember when this guy wasn't even married yet, I don't believe, when we first met. And I watched him build an amazing business without hardly running any ads. Like you're gonna learn when I speak later on today, the next level of advertising. I want to talk mindset this morning, I'll talk business this afternoon. But I've watched our next speaker build a fucking empire with legends. I mean, I have met some of the coolest people in country music drinking whiskey with this guy. I mean, and he gets them to do business with him and open up moving locations. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Our next guest is the #1 networker I have ever met in my entire life, and I know pretty much everybody who's a damn networker. I'm telling you, I have never seen anybody move like this guy. I've never seen anybody that operates like this guy, and he is the #1 connector of people I have seen in all my 40 years of my life. So let's give a huge round of applause to my best friend, Dustin Black. Yeah!
How we doing? Come on, Dallas. Yes, sir. Let's get fired up this morning. Hey, before I get started here, I just want to,